everyone! Last time we took a look at Pokemon Gold and Silver, but this time it's time to move on to the Game Boy Advance and the next games in the Pokemon franchise, Ruby and Sapphire. So, without further delay, let's jump straight into the review. So, this game takes place in the tropical region of Hoenn. You play as Brendan or May, and you travel across the land trying to complete the Pokédex. Along the way, you'll come across Team Aqua or Team Magma, depending on the game you choose to play, who wants to expand either the land or the sea. Both ideas are pretty stupid if you ask me, but once you take them down, along the way you'll have to fight 8 gym leaders of the Hoenn region. That being Roxanne, the rock trainer, Brawly, the fighting expert, Watson, the electric leader, Flannery, the fire lady, Winona, the flying ace, Tate and Liza, the psychic duo, Wallace, water tamer, as well as Norman, who is actually the player's father, and he specialises in normal type Pokemon. Since it's on advanced hardware, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire are major improvements over Gold and Silver. The graphics look great, and the battles now have backgrounds. They might not be as flashy as later installments, but I really like them. They help you feel like you're actually fighting in the location that you're playing in, and not just some white void like every game before it. However, in the battle menu, there is something I'm not too fond about. Something changed from Gold and Silver to Ruby and Sapphire, which I don't understand why they did it, but they just did, and they changed the position of Bag and Pokemon. I know that sounds really petty, but when you have the muscle memory of the last games and you come to play this one, the first half of this game can get really annoying when you make that mistake. However, I did adjust to it, it just took a little time. Outside of battles, the world around you is so much more vibrant and colourful. Not only that, but there are new ways to traverse the land. You can now run around the Hoenn region, and that makes getting from point A to point B a real snap. The Hoenn region is not only filled with lush environments, but colourful characters too. Unlike the last 2 games, these feature way more memorable side characters, such as Mr. Briny, Wally, the rivals obviously. Although they're not as brutal as the last ones, I actually don't mind how cheerful May can be, and how weird Brendan is. However, the most memorable of all is Stephen Stone, a guy obsessed with rocks. And remember how I said Gold and Silver had such an amazing soundtrack? Well, Ruby and Sapphire smashes that one out the park. It features those grand trumpets we all know and love. They're so iconic to the Hoenn region, and I don't think there is a single bad track in this game's entire soundtrack. Wish I could showcase how great this soundtrack truly is to you guys, but I'm going to show you a few examples of just a few of my favourite tracks from Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. One thing I'm not too fond of in Ruby and Sapphire is the invisible difficulty setting, that being your starter choice. Now, if you know me, I love Trico. Well, I mean, I love Torchic and Mudkip's alright too. This is probably the most balanced in like to dislike ratio I've ever had with a Pokemon region before, and it's probably my favourite starter trio. but I gotta go for my man Trico. So I went for my guy. And the problem is, I'm pretty sure it's a lot harder to beat the game with Trico than anyone else. Because the first few gyms, no matter who I had on my team with me, we somehow always got defeated. And Trico, after the first gym, started to do really bad after I evolved him into Grovyle. And he didn't get good again until Victory Road, where I changed up his moveset completely. And that's at the very end of the game. I couldn't use the Pokemon I really wanted to use because I had to catch some stuff to counter the gyms early on. I had to catch myself a Tailo just so I could take down Brawly, and then I had to really try to over level my guys just so I could try to take down Watson after my third attempt. Oh well. To navigate most caves in this game, you need HMs. There are so many HMs introduced in this game. This time, compared to the last games, I actually had a full party of 6 Pokemon. And that meant I couldn't carry around my HM slave everywhere, that being a Marill. And I was not teaching 3 water-type moves, Surf, Waterfall and Dive, to my Milotic. No way. Yeah, that was a pain. And I really don't like the need for HMs in this game. I can understand why so many people want to remove them entirely because of Ruby and Sapphire. And since TMs break after one use, that means that I can't keep going back and forth and teaching HMs, deleting the HM, teaching the TM, teaching in the HM, going back to delete the HM, teaching in the TM over and over again. I have to stick with the moveset I want. So it means I have to rotate my Marill back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, all over in the game. This game brings back the Safari Zone! Yay, everyone's favourite place in a Pokemon game. Not, or at least for me, I hate the Safari Zone. However, it's more tolerable this time, because unlike Red and Blue, it's not mandatory to go here. All the HMs are given to you elsewhere, so it's just for catching those rare Pokemon, such as Pikachu, who can only be caught in the Safari Zone in Hoenn. Ruby and Sapphire introduced many new features, which weren't in older games. These include, but not limited to, abilities giving your Pokemon their own extra flair in battles and giving them an edge over other Pokemon, or nerfing them in some cases, natures which affect how a Pokemon will grow, weather to change how you'll battle, and your strategy, double battles allowing you to use more than one Pokemon on the battlefield at a time, as well as contests, which, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of. They have their own stats, and they offer your Pokemon ribbons, another feature which is new to Ruby and Sapphire. But I don't know, contests just aren't my thing, and I don't think it's many people's thing. And along with the new features, these games introduced 135 new Pokemon to add to the fray. Some of my favourites include Grovyle, Blaziken, Swellow, Mawile, Milotic, Meditite, Cacnea, and Flygon. I love how so many of these have these awesome tropical designs, and they are very diverse, and you can clearly tell they are different from those found in the Kanto and Johto regions. And the awesome graphics that these games show off for the time for a Game Boy Advance really do help these designs in their favour, as they can get a bit more complex than how they used to. Alright, I might just be alone on this, but I love the puzzles in the overworld of the Pokemon games. Ruby and Sapphire has quite a few of my favourites, such as the strength puzzle in the villain's underwater cave, to the ice floor puzzle in Wallace's gym, and then the cryptic way to find the Reggie trio. Even if I always look up a tutorial on how to do it, it's still so much fun to go out and try to find these powerful Pokemon. So guys, those are my thoughts on the games Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire. What do you guys think of the games? Tell me down below. If you played them before, who's your favourite Pokemon from the game? Now, I think that these games are the best, at least out of the 3 games I've reviewed so far. Red and Blue is the worst, and I mean, I like Red and Blue, as you know, you can see the review to tell that. Gold and Silver is second, but Ruby and Sapphire is definitely the best. I'd love to give a big shout out to MarioFan98 for providing all the gameplay you've seen throughout this video. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.